call this meeting to order. It is 4:40. I just want to read the remote meeting laws. Everybody can hear me?
Yeah.
Great, okay. So this open meeting of the Grafton Planning and Building Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted to the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For any responses, please wait until I, the chair, yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourselves. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will first read public comments, questions received in advance of the meeting, followed by real-time board and/or applicant responses. Public comments during the meeting will be conducted through the chat feature through Zoom. The chair will read real-time comments, questions typed by computer participants in the chat feature, followed by real-time board applicant responses. And finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Okay, so we can start with the minutes. And Lisa, you submitted those. Is everybody okay? Has everybody reviewed them and they're good with that?
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the August 3rd meeting.
Second.
Okay. So by roll call, Beth?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Doreen?
Aye.
Great. Did I get everybody?
Mary, can I just ask, is Doug here and I just don't see him for the minutes?
I haven't seen him. That's why I asked.
Thank you.
Mary, don't forget to record your own vote.
Okay. And Mary, aye. Okay. Bills. Andy.
Okay. We have 5 bills to review tonight. These are all very straightforward, sort of monthly bill kind of thing. We have 2 from Colliers, who are our commissioning agents. We have 1 from D.A. Sullivan, our OPM, and 1 from DRA, our architect, and 1 from Weston Sampson, our licensed site professionals. So we can go down the list in order. Colliers for May is in the amount of $1,252.78.
So I make a motion that we approve paying the Colliers bill for $1,252.78 for May. And then I have some questions.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
So
go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, so my question is, this is May. Did we miss this one? Like, how did we not? I thought we were on top of all these.
So yeah, they got it in late. So I think at the July meeting, you asked me where's the Colliers invoice, and I said they didn't get it in time. So here it is now. Yeah, this was them, not us.
Thank you.
Occasionally it is me, but this time it was not. All right, the next one is.
Oh, wait a minute.
Sorry,
Are we going to vote each one, or do you want to just wait?
No, each one.
Yep. Okay. So vote by roll call. Beth?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Doreen,
Aye.
and Fritz, aye. Okay, Andy.
Thanks. Sorry about that. So this is Colliers for July. This is for the amount of $1,268.23.
I make a motion, we pay Colliers $1,268.23.
Second.
Does anybody have any questions, comments? Okay, vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Doreen,
Aye.
and Fritz, aye. Okay, Andy.
All right, next one is for DA Sullivan, our OPM. This gets them caught up through August. The amount is $9,450.
I make a motion to pay DAS $9,450 for August 2020.
Second.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a question. I can't get my computer to work. I wrote notes and I just wrote down, where does the 9450 come from? Because there are a couple of set of numbers and I'm trying to add, subtract, and I'm not seeing that difference. I'm not understanding. I'm sure it's a percentage of the project, but just understanding the way the bill is written, but I can't pull it up, so I can't.
So John, yes, it is a percentage of the contract. Typically, we take, say if there's 15 months and whatever our fee is divided by 15, and it's just a monthly, it's the same every month. But because of the COVID kind of downturn,
Right.
we did a couple months where, we honestly it wasn't much for us to do administratively, so we just knocked those down. And so the division doesn't work anymore. And so now we're kind of back onto that monthly number. But if you were to take the overall number of months and try to find a number that you can see in an invoice, you don't see it anymore just because of those downturn months.
Okay. I was just trying to make sense of like the 100% or, the
Right.
different large numbers, and I'm not seeing it.
Right. I mean, truthfully, so if we bill the same every month and DRA would be the same, we would get ahead of where CTA schedule is. And so slowly CTA is starting to kind of catch up
Mhm.
to kind of the monthly regimen. So I'm hoping that, they catch up and kind of pass where we are.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Doreen,
Aye.
and Fritz, aye.
All right, good. Next invoice is for GRA for the design team. So the total of this invoice is $23,631.76.
I make a motion to pay DRA $23,631.76 for August 2020.
Second.
Anybody have any questions, comments?
Only that Doug is on now. Sorry about
Okay,
that.
vote by roll.
Hey,
Oh, okay, Doug. Okay, vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Doreen,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Fritz, aye. Great, thanks. Andy?
all right, last but not least, Weston and Sampson, our licensed site professional. This is for through August. The amount is $13,062.96. They had a bit of work to do this month. They had a major submission to the DEP, which they met. So this invoice, again, it's part of what they had budgeted, but it's just the effort was a little bit larger this month, which is reflected in the number.
I make a motion, we pay Weston and Sampson $13,062.96 for August 2020.
Second.
Does anybody have any questions? So I just have one. Is this, these are not included in the contract, Andy? These are separate costs?
These are direct owner costs. Yeah.
Direct
Yeah.
owner.
So
Okay.
you're right. We have a contract directly with Weston and Sampson.
Okay, so none of that is taken out like through the grant or anything. It's direct to the town, or
It's part of the overall project cost.
it is? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it has been figured in there.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's in the cost report. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Pabru,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Doreen,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Fritz, aye. Any more, Andy?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, yeah. You know what? We might as well do CTA's requisition at the same time, since
Sure.
it's all money.
Mhm.
So let me just pull it up. So CTA's requisition for this month is $708,386.26.
So I make a motion to pay CTA. Is this rec number 10?
Yes, it
Rec
is.
10 for August, 708,386.26. So $708,386.26.
Second.
Anybody have any comments?
So I have one there. This requisition does include some materials that have been procured but are not on site yet. So we've got the title on that stuff, and we've got photographs as well. So that it's not that anybody's looking for it, but anytime something like that happens, when the project has purchased something that isn't on site yet, we follow all the correct sort of methods and make sure that we've got the right ownership so associated with that.
And it does include some of the change orders that we've already approved as well.
This particular requisition, I think the last one had the last change order in it that we approved. I'm just flipping to the last page here. This one doesn't have anything. Actually, it does. So yes, the short answer to your question is yes. This includes some things we've already approved in the change order.
Yeah, I see some foundation modifications, a couple other things. Okay. Anybody else have any other comments or questions on this?
Andy, do we have a copy of this somewhere?
I sent it out today, Irene. Sorry. Yeah, it was late getting signed, so it didn't get out when I wanted it to yesterday. But you should have a copy of it in your inbox.
Trying to make it.
Can I ask a question?
Ah, there it is. Okay. I had to make it large enough so I could actually see it.
Yes. Yeah.
What document was that, Irene?
It came in an email attachment. It says 10 Grafton August final
Oh,
rec
I got it. Yep.
LS.
Thanks. I
Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
I know that's why I had trouble finding it too. It didn't say CTA.
Right.
Andy, I guess it's the front page, it says change order summary, and it says COs and CCDs. Change order and CCD, I looked that up. Construction charge or change directives, is that what that is?
Correct.
And what's the difference between a CO and a CCD?
Mark, you want to explain it?
In layman's terms, I guess a CCD is go ahead, do this additional work. Please start now. The paperwork will catch up. Whereas a change order is that formal paperwork. So contractually, they mean the same thing to the GC. The GC is looking for direction on change order work and won't proceed without it. A CCD is that kind of interim step between nothing and a formal change order. So it carries almost the weight of a change order, but as far as giving formal direction, the contract hasn't been modified.
Okay, so for almost $3 million, we haven't gotten a formal either bill or formal approval for that?
A CCD is formal approval. So like I say, it gives the GC authority to move forward and give subcontracts and buy material based on that CCD. And then the change order just pulls it all together and formalizes it into the contract. So it's an administrative step, basically.
Okay.
That makes sense?
No.
John, we're looking at everything every step of the way.
No, I understand that. That's why I'm kind of like, it's just, I'm trying to make numbers make sense to me and understand them. And I'm, like change orders I get because we have to go through them. I guess selectmen have to approve it. But the CCDs, it sounds like that hasn't been approved by the selectmen yet.
They're the precursor to a change order.
So eventually
Okay.
the change order will end up in front of the select board and the numbers will be the same as the CCD.
So the
But-
CCDs flow into the COs. So
Correct.
it's not like we've got two different sets of, even though it's two different columns, it's
Correct.
not two different sets of charges. It's that the second column becomes part of the first column when it's formalized.
Correct. And usually when it happens, it's an issue of timing. So if it's the
Okay.
beginning of the month and a change comes up and we don't want to wait 4 to 6 weeks to get a formal change order and then in front of the select board and get it approved, we want the GC to move forward, then we'll give them authorization via a CCD, tell them to get going, and then we wait to the end of the month so that Andy's in front of the select board with the formal change order. And then the numbers just kind of slide over, but they're not new numbers.
Okay, so it looks like, just looking at the rough math, if you do the 700 CO plus the 1.3 CCD, that's where you get your almost 2 million in total net changes, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, I think I got it.
It's not terribly straightforward.
No, but it's like understanding how accounting is not something I've ever had any coursework in, so it's
Right.
kind of challenging.
Doreen,
Doreen?
you have a question?
Thanks, Mary. Just a follow-up question to this conversation. So just to confirm, there's never a difference between the CCD number and the CO number. So by the time it gets to the board as a CO, there has never been any change between those two numbers. Is that correct?
I don't want to say never, typically not. Sometimes a CCD might be what's called a time and material. Like go ahead and knock down that wall. And proceed on a time material basis, which means Andy will keep track of their time, we'll keep track of materials bought, and say they have an upside limit of $5,000. So we give a not to exceed CCD of $5,000. Then when all the work's done, it costs $3,500. So the formal change order is written up for $3,500. So generally no, generally the numbers are the same, but not all the time.
Okay, that makes sense. And Andy, you typically do a great job explaining to the board if there has been any changes or the history of that. So as long as that continues, that's great.
Yep, that'll continue. And we don't like to do time and materials very often, but we do it occasionally. We did it on this project. When we're looking at the cost report, I can show you one example where the contractor gave us a number that didn't look like, it looked like it was inflated. And so we basically said, we'll give you an upset limit to do this work, but I'm going to watch you do it. And the number came in a whole lot, a fraction of what it was going to be originally. we don't want to do all the work like that, but once in a while it's worth it to sort of put a stake in the ground and say, no, we're going to let you do this.
And just to clarify, the CCD is in one column, but eventually it's going to get moved over to the CO column, and you can invoice against the CCD during this time period, and then whatever's left over on the CO would be paid for that. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments? Okay, vote by roll call. Beth?
I,
Prabhu? Julie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Doreen?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And Fritz, aye. Thanks. Okay. So we are on to Clerk of the Works.
Okay. I sent my report out yesterday. I'll keep it short unless somebody has questions. We had a few big milestones on the project this past month. Paving the parking lot is a big deal, and that got done, which is great, and it's draining correctly and looks good. So that's a big deal to get that cleaned up. The steel erection has been completed. The final detailing is just finishing up in the next couple of days. So that's a big deal. And we also poured concrete on the entire second floor and the mezzanine up above that. So all three of those things are pretty major milestones, which is really good. As Mark and I had hoped, the project is, hitting its stride. We've got a lot more people on site every day and a lot of work getting done. But it does seem like it's picking up speed, which is good. I'd be happy to go through any of the specifics on that if you're interested, but that's really kind of the big stuff.
Yeah, I had one question, if I may, regarding the
Sure.
schedule. It says in your report the targeted date was June 2021. That was the original target date, and we are still meeting the date. Is that what it is?
Yes. So even though we've done well on schedule, the end date hasn't pulled in. I think some of the slack in the schedule has or some of the tightness in the schedule has relaxed a little bit. So so that's basically where we are, right? Some of the tightness in the schedule feels a little bit better now because we've made some good headway. And I would say I'm expecting, weather depending, of course, I'd expect to see some more of that. It looks like their schedule in general has been fairly conservative, which has been great. So hopefully we'll see more of that sort of schedule savings happen, and maybe that end date pulls in, but we'll see.
I think a little bit, I was gonna say, but I think a little bit float, which is the additional days between sequential work. The float was pretty tight before. Now there's more float, which gives you more. It's basically wiggle room. And I think, to Andy's point, I think we're going to see more float, and then that end date kind of come back toward us a little bit.
Very interesting, guys. We are going to end up talking about PERT and CPM charts also now. Go ahead, Doreen.
I just have one question too. Is the plan still to have the exterior of the building kind of sealed up before the winter months, so the interior will be worked on during the winter?
Yep, that is the plan. So it's looking like Thanksgiving, right around that time frame. The majority of this is going to be really, the outside of the building will look primarily done. Yeah, so that'll be the case. It's actually pretty well timed right now. We'll get this thing closed in and tight in time for the bad weather, and then we'll do all the interior work while the weather's not good.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Andy, I had 3 questions. One for the for this.
You get one.
For this, I get one. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
For the steel, it said that the independent inspection. Who does the independent inspection miss the items that the structural engineer caught?
Oh, thanks for reading. So UTS is the independent lab that does a lot of our testing. So yeah, they had somebody that came out here that missed a bunch of stuff that they shouldn't have missed. That's one of the good examples of teamwork. You know, the structural engineer was out the next day, I think, and did his own review and found a bunch of stuff. So it was a good catch.
But both of those are people that we pay independent of the contractor, or is part of the contractor?
The structural engineer is part of the overall. They're part of the design team. They work for Ron.
Okay.
So they're already part of that. The UTS, the independent testing agency, is something that we pay for.
So do we get a rebate on that bill?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I have a couple of quibbles with them.
Yeah. The next question, it just said the soil excavation you're still waiting for in front of the building. Is that because of the earlier oil tank that was removed?
No, it's unrelated to that. So the excavation in the front of the building is really just a kind of a timing thing. The site guys have been waiting to do the rest of the work around the building in the parking lot first, and they wanted to do that at the end when they had nowhere else to go. They had to get out of the way of the rest of the building. So that'll
Okay, so it has nothing to do with contamination. It's just part of. Okay.
No, we did some test pits out front and found a whole lot of brick under the ground, but nothing else.
Okay, and then the last one for the mock-ups, the masonry's done, but there's two more pieces before it's not just the masonry, it's windows, siding, and the brick. So it's three pieces that.
Yeah. So I talked to the GC today and said I'm getting tired of telling everybody that the mock-up is going to be done in the next couple of weeks, because it's not getting done in the next couple of weeks, it seems. Yeah, the masons are done, the brick and the stone and the precast is there. The clapboards are actually on site, as is the window. We just need to get the trades out here to install them.
Okay.
You know, that's one of those things. It's not to have the guys that are doing the siding come out send a guy for a couple of hours to come out and do that. It's nobody's highest priority. They've got other work going on. So it's always a struggle to get people out to come out here to do a little bit of work.
Okay. Thanks.
They're pushing on it as hard as they can, I think.
That's it.
Doug, you had a question?
I only have two. Actually, one's not a question, and I can't remember if we talked about this at the last meeting or not. But the brick on that gable that they've put up looks really good.
Yeah.
Definitely impressed on how well it matches.
Yeah. Right.
So the question, you mentioned that they've opened up into the interior of the existing building. Does that mean that section's watertight, or does it not really need to be watertight at this part?
It's pretty well protected by the second floor slab right now. So and the roof above that actually. So yeah, there's going to be no water getting in there. It'd have to be a pretty violent storm to get any mist in there. It's pretty well protected.
Okay, great.
You should come out.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
Drive by it. It's really exciting.
Yep.
So we can get a tour of the site.
Yes, you can. I'll be happy to do that anytime.
Come just knock on your door. Excellent.
We can talk about that at the end of this. But yeah, it's definitely there's enough to see now that's definitely worth coming out to take a look. Good questions. Keep them coming.
Anybody else?
Okay.
All right. Mark, you're up. Oh, I'm sorry, Doreen.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I just thought of a logistical question that may come up, maybe to the board or something, which is, as you know, parking is super tight on the common, and I'm making the assumption also that all these construction gates are going to stay up until the project is complete, even when we're working on the interior of the building. So even when the exterior is done, the parking is done, there will be no access to this building, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, even when we're just doing inside work, there's still going to be a lot of trades and vehicles coming and going.
Yeah.
Deliveries being made and all that stuff. So yeah, it remains a construction site throughout.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for my tour. So it kind of, that question popped in my head.
One of the things Andy mentioned on this pay app was their stored materials off site. Well, now that we've paved, we've got this big old parking lot to store materials on. So you're going to see a lot of storage containers with that material, and there'll be a lot of shuttling back and forth for the next, 9 months. And so we need to keep that whole place enclosed.
Yeah, the skylight actually got delivered today, and it's sitting out here in a big truck. So there's definitely some of that pavement is being eaten up already.
I have a question though, given that, which I do understand, but going into the holiday season, which may be kind of a busy time for the businesses on the common, is it possible to open some of the parking lot, for Saturdays and Sundays by moving the fencing? If it's not, it's not. I just thought I would ask.
It's a liability issue for, right now this is CTA's site. And the work limits are defined by the fence. And I wouldn't think that they would, there's maybe political or goodwill upside for them to move the fence around. But there's a lot of downside if somebody punctures a tire or trips on a stone while they're technically on the construction site. And so I think for insurance reasons alone, they won't allow that.
Okay, fair enough.
This is Beth Galloway. I just want to take a moment to remind everybody that one of those 37 grant assurances that the town and board of trustees signed off on was that this parking lot is designated library parking only. Thank you.
We need to be reminded of that about every meeting, I think, Beth.
I'll continue to do so.
Thank you, Beth.
I don't want to have to turn back $7.4 million to Mass Board of Library Commissioners for being in violation of our contract. Thanks for understanding.
Yep, good reminder.
Okay, I think you're up now, Mark.
I'll be brief as well, but just following up with what Andy said, and actually, if you look at the background of Doug's picture, the skylights material, thank you, Doug.
Which I love, by the way, Doug.
The skylight material was delivered, and the consequences of that soil mess that we had on the site and the COVID, inefficiencies and so forth, what that has led to is it's not unprecedented, but it doesn't happen a lot. I think between Andy and Ron and I were talking, it's very rare for a project to be in this physical state where the steel isn't even technically done yet, and to have the skylight waiting on the steel. And you look at all these window openings, right now the windows are being fabricated. They'll be on site soon too. It's not unheard of to have the framing done and be waiting 6, 8 weeks, 10 weeks for the storefront material to show up. We're in a position now, we've got this parking lot like I spoke of. Materials are actually ahead of the project. And so we've got very, very few RFIs open. The submittals that are open are a lot of them are kind of finish related, downstream, low, critical path related items. And so the superintendent of CTA is licking his chops because this is at this point, it's been difficult up until now, but at this point, this is a dream job for a superintendent. He's got a big site, a lot of room to play. He's got all the materials ahead of him. We shouldn't be waiting on anything. And so to Andy's point, we hit a couple milestones this past month, and we should get into a nice, good groove moving forward, because we won't be waiting on anything. So it's, to start a project at Labor Day and try to be weather tight by Christmas is, that happens a lot. For us to be framed, the deck is done, and we've got not all the material yet, but we've almost got all the material. We're going to be in pretty good shape come Christmas time. So, I mean, nothing major to add other than administratively, we're way ahead of the game. And I'm anxious, I'm just excited to see how that's going to show itself in the schedule moving forward.
Yeah, it looks great. It really does. Okay, any questions for Mark or any comments? Okay, Ron, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Since
Hi.
we last met, we had an opportunity to meet with the Interior Subcommittee on the 18th. And I'm going to take you through a quick walk through the plans and elevations that were reviewed. These are not finalized yet. They are moving in a very good direction. But I just wanted to show you where we are making progress. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, can the host?
Yeah, one moment.
Thank you.
There you go. You're the host here.
I'm now the host. You guys are in trouble. There we go. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. On the left, you will see the finish boards, the color boards that we reviewed. There are two. This is the first one. On the right-hand side, we're looking at a CAD file drawing of the proposed lower level finish plan. And I will zoom in for a second here. And let me just do this. Okay, so this is what we originally had for the main lobby area going down through here. We had a large diamond in the center with the original marble. And if you look to the left where you see number 1 and you see my little pen floating around, that's the reclaimed existing marble that we're going to reuse in this area here and also down in here, and frame it with this black porcelain tile that looks like marble. And what we thought was to give more direction to the, oh, I'm sorry, let me go back for a second. The general area was going to be this gray striated porcelain tile. And that was going to be basically throughout with the exception of the diamonds, wherever you see the tile here. So what we decided would give it more definition and more direction as you enter the vestibule and you have the option of going upstairs or going straight ahead to the young adults and the children's. We decided to keep this the gray striated tile with a smaller version of the existing marble accent in the middle, again with the black trim, although it's not shown here. And to make the area outside of the program space as well as the coffee cafe area and this corridor back here to the public restrooms, the black porcelain marble-like tile, and at the entrances to the program room, make a smaller version of the diamond accent in the reclaimed marble. And again, in the center of the cafe area, have a similar diamond accent of the reclaimed marble. And what that does is it really defines the central corridor area and sets these off as ancillary spaces. So it gives you a lot more focus as you come into the building. The bathrooms in general are going to be this number 3 here on the left, which is the smaller 2x2 version of that same tile. With a marble threshold at the doors. There's not going to be any accent pattern in the floor. What we're going to do is the wall tile will be this white ceramic tile, but it's going to be the tall vertical, I believe it's 4x8 roughly, called subway tile. So it's rectangular. They look kind of like large bricks, but it's a porcelain tile. And about a third of the way up the wall will be this glass tile accent. It will actually be rotated so that the tiles are vertical. And that band will wrap around the walls of the toilet rooms. So all the toilet rooms are going to be the same finishes. Going into the, let me go back to the other plan. The utility spaces, storage, the friends, the sorting room, and also in the youth services is going to be a quartz tile, which is basically a vinyl tile similar to these. Not necessarily those colors, but let me see if it's on color board too. It's basically one of these grays for those areas since they're back of house. I think I need to stay here, yes. Again, this is talking about what I described for the lobby and vestibule. The program room is going to be this gray and dark, gray range pattern. It's going to range from dark gray to light gray. And it's a 4 meter by 4 meter repeat of intersecting angles. I don't have a larger view of it on hand, unfortunately. I didn't call one up. But that's going to be throughout the program space. And in the young adults, this area here, we have a field of that same gray tile, carpet tile, with accent colors in the center squares. These could also be a different carpet tile, similar to this with more color. And also these accent squares, we're showing them right now in the middle, but they may move to different areas depending on how the furniture fits in, and I'll get to the furniture in a few minutes. So basically we have a primary area under the stacks will be just the gray carpet tile, and we'll keep the colored accents for visible spaces. And in the children's program room, we're looking at 2 options for laying out a sheet vinyl good in some combination of these colors. Into this area, one option is to have the 4 colors just break off into different areas, and then a central pattern in the middle, or to do wedges of the different colors with some overlapping accents. But it's basically working with these 4 vinyl products. And then in the young adult, let me zoom out a little bit. The young adult area, we were thinking of going with this purplish and blue pattern through here. I'm sorry, this is the gray again through here. And then this purplish accent would be defining the aisleway that leads you into the stack area, as well as into the back where you have the young adult program room, as well as the game room up here. And we're discussing through some of the colors that would be used as accents. The accent colors can also be taken into the study rooms here and here to give a pop of color in those. And then in the young adult program area, we're also looking at some combination of these vinyl tiles, sheet vinyl goods in a pattern to give it some life. So we're trying to bring color to the more visible spaces and keep the spaces that are under the stacks in a more neutral palette. Let me just flip over to color board 2 for a second. And I am going to shift to the upper level. So in the upper level, as you come up the stairs here, we basically created a corridor that links the large print room here to the periodical room, original building here. And for that, we chose this blue and gray patterned carpet. It's the same pattern as what's downstairs, but we would have it connecting the two. And at each end, we chose a more classical carpet, which unfortunately, you don't see much of the pattern here. But it has a solid blue border. Let me zoom into one of the areas. This wide band around each section is the dark blue. The thinner band is this pattern here. And then the field in each area is, you can see a slice of it here. It's basically the same as the pattern here, but a slight bit darker. And that same carpet would be at both ends of the building. So it connects, you know, as we intended with the architecture, it connects the original building to the addition at this end. And then this section in the middle is more contemporary. And then as we get into the adult section, we have, again, this carpet here. A solid sheet vinyl here. Actually, that's a quartz tile, this one. And then in the offices, we have this blue carpet tile. And the gray tiles, again, are in the utility spaces. The more utilitarian work areas back here, and also in the storage. And then the public meeting rooms can be either the same blue or an accent color similar to that pattern. So that's an overview of the finishes. We are working out some of the finer details and decisions. My next steps are going to be, I've met with the furniture vendor, the furniture specifier, last week. Spent a day with them going through the furniture plan, updating them on changes that have been made since we last met with them. And I'm getting a revised CAD file back to them so they can start making recommendations for the furniture. And I will be taking that revised furniture plan and overlaying it on these finished plans so that we can see where the furniture lands and how it interacts with the different patterns. And that's going to be primarily, you know, in this children's area where we put the accents and how that works with the furniture. that's basically the architectural summary. At this point, I am getting more samples of the materials that we reviewed, so I can get bigger samples of that actually show the pattern. The other thing is that the carpet manufacturer is going to take a copy of my CAD file and insert basically render the carpet in the spaces where we designate. So we'll be able to see how it lays out in plan, and we'll have bigger actual samples of the different pattern tiles so we can see how the patterns work. And that's expected within the next week or two. I'm open to any questions. And do I stop sharing at this point, or?
I think you can leave it up and still be the host as people have questions.
Okay. Doug?
I have a very quick question. I should have asked this at our meeting, but at the other meeting. But the renderings you just talked about, will they be 3D, like so we can like see the space in 3D, or is it literally just something like this with the colors?
It's something like this with the colors. They don't have the ability to do a 3D rendering of the space.
Yep, no problem.
So it would be just a floor plan like this with the carpet pattern shown in the colors that we selected.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Looks great, Ron.
I just
Thank
have,
you very much. Doreen, did you have a question?
yeah, I have a quick question too, or just a clarification, Ronald. It looks amazing. So the original on the first floor, when you walk into the vestibule, and the old marble that is going to be put in those diamond squares, is that going to be raised at all, or just integrated into the floor all on one level?
The finished floor surface will all be one continuous level.
Okay.
Which means we have to recess the slab about an inch, I believe, 1.5 inches, because the original marble is thicker than the porcelain tiles that we're putting next to it.
Okay.
So that's actually one of the next steps for pouring this slab on grade, which is coming up soon, is to get approval on this pattern so that we can locate these squares and have the GC recess the areas that need to be deeper, so to speak, so that we can get the tiles flush.
Great. Thank you. It looks
You're welcome.
beautiful
Thank
in
you.
a design. I can only imagine how it'll look like when it's complete.
Mary?
Yeah, I was just curious, are these the colors that the subcommittee picked out, or are these the colors that you suggested to them and they agreed upon? And has this all been flushed out with the subcommittee?
These are recommendations we made to the subcommittee and reviewed with them.
Okay.
And please, anyone on the subcommittee chime in. My understanding is that the colors were pretty much accepted, with a few questions of which color might go where between the children's and the young adults.
Yeah, it was a very productive meeting, and I think that there was a general consensus that the color selections were great. And as Ron mentioned about the furniture layout, it's more of a tweaking about where the patterns want to be, or maybe the colors within a certain rooms, but the general palette, I think, was signed off, and I think we're in really good shape.
Weren't like the orange or maybe a couple of colors ones that we're not going to use because those are kind of extreme, or am I remembering wrong?
This is Beth. I was going to chime in that I thought that the mustard yellow was an exception. I really hate it.
Right.
But generally, yes, it really works well. And I love that there's a a pattern to the carpet, and the pattern repeats in different colors, and it gives a real cohesiveness, I think, to the building.
Yeah, it gives the it gives that central block of the architecture a much more contemporary feel, which was the intent of the exterior architecture, to have it be distinct from the original library. And I was glad that we were able to find a carpet, this carpet here, that is more traditional, classical, yet somewhat contemporary, so that it's not a shock to go into the existing part of the building, the original building, and find something, you know, completely contemporary that just doesn't go with the interior architecture. That's actually a carpet used in hospitality, and also in some assisted living type facilities. So very, very heavy duty, a nice classical look, and everything seems to tie together. So I will be setting up another meeting. I'll be reaching out to the subcommittee probably tomorrow to schedule a next meeting for the next steps. So you'll be hearing from me shortly. That's it. And I can stop sharing. What do I need to do to return control?
I think if you go to participants and choose my name and pick make host, that should work. And you can also hit, I think there's an unshare screen button at the top somewhere.
Yeah, I found that. So you're listed as Grafton Public Library, correct?
Yeah, I am. In its entirety today.
Make host. And stop sharing. There we go.
Nice. Well, it really looks awesome. I love the colors. I think it's going to look so nice.
Thank you.
All right. Historic District Commission. Any updates on that, John?
We didn't, the next discussion would involve the mock-ups, and that's why I had the follow-up questions with Andy, because we know it's pretty close, but we need to have the whole thing so that we can take a look at it and make approvals. The other thing that they reminded me is that, and I don't know if everybody here, that we need a formal application. I don't know if that was formally submitted, but John Morgan, who was the former chairman of the district commission, said, I don't believe that a formal application was ever submitted with all the final plans. And that's because we still don't have the final plans, but that's something that I don't, Andy, that might be something that you and Bill Nicholson and John can discuss at some point.
Absolutely, yeah. If it's something that I can provide on behalf of the team, I can definitely do that.
Because I don't think there's a whole lot, because it seems like they already submitted an application. It's just, it was preliminary. It was without all the details, the colors, the final design elements, so forth. And then also just, did we already notify Mass Historical? Where are they in terms of in the loop or approvals of, are they good? Were they good with the preliminary stuff? Because that would be another hurdle or box to check.
Yeah, I don't know who submitted to Mass Historic before.
I think it was through the architect's office.
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
I think that, yeah, because it seems like there were big, huge plans that had to be either driven in or mailed or something.
I will double check with Ken.
So yeah, I think maybe Ken probably did it.
That was, I remember that taking place early on.
Yeah, that's been quite some time ago, but you just want to make sure with them, because you don't want to, missed a box getting checked by them, that would be an easy box up front and a more troublesome problem after the fact.
Okay, I will reach out to him.
Okay. But that seems like that was a year ago. I mean, that was at the same time or even longer. It's been a while. It seems like he did all that.
Okay,
Okay.
I made a note to follow up.
All right, interior design subcommittee, does anybody else have anything else to add to that? What Ron said earlier?
No.
Okay, great.
Beth, I didn't bring this up at the meeting. Did you write minutes? I think I might have taken some notes. We can have some basic notes just to submit for minutes. I don't want to duplicate efforts.
Yeah, I didn't yet. I think I drafted them for the last one, but I didn't submit them anywhere.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure that, because I would do it, but if you've already done it, then it's, I won't worry about it.
I have done it for the first meeting, but not the second. So if you wanted to tackle the second, that
The
was
second one, okay.
thanks.
If you have any question about notes from our last meeting, please let me know. I'd be glad to help out with any notes or comments or questions.
Okay, I think it's probably pretty much to me, it's who was there. There was a discussion about colors and preliminary decisions were made that will be presented at the full committee meeting. So it's, to me, Beth, did you go into more detail than that?
I think I did, and I thought I shared out a draft. I can do that tonight. if you want
Okay.
to. I think I did have, because where I had, like, we were looking at Milliken Carpet, I put in the link for Milliken Carpet, and I attached photos that I took from the meeting too.
Okay.
Do you need copies of the plans we reviewed and also the color board sheets?
Yes,
Or did
please.
I send those to you?
Thanks.
I'm sorry, you need them or you have them?
We need electronic versions. Yeah, that would be great. And whatever you showed tonight should also go with the minutes, so that can be sent to the whole group. For
Yeah,
Lisa.
that's
Awesome.
That's basically the same thing.
Great.
Very good. Send them to Lisa?
Send them to the whole
Okay.
group so everybody has them. But yeah,
Okay.
Lisa's minutes. Thanks.
Is there any public input?
So we do have somebody who has not yet identified himself. I did ask in the chat for him to do so for the purpose of the minutes, and I don't know if it's member of the public or member of CTA, but welcome. If Bill's iPhone is still on the call, we'd love to know who you are. He may have dropped off
Okay.
Okay, I don't see that. Yeah.
anymore, but yeah,
Okay.
somebody I did earlier. I assumed it was either
Okay.
some CTA or possibly Bill Yeoman. Let them in.
Yeah, I only see Colleen and Roy.
Yeah, me too. Okay. All right, so should we make we have a meeting on October 5th.
Yep.
And that one is at 5
o'clock.
p.m.
Yep.
Is it 5 or 5:30?
Did you want to talk or you just want to say 5, Lisa? I have it down at 5 p.m.
At 5 o'clock, yep.
What was the date again?
The 5th.
October 5th.
October 5th. Okay, that's what I thought. October 5th.
So do we want to make another one on November 2nd as well? And I'm assuming we're still going to be Zoom. So I know, Julie, you had a problem with the time. Some of us did. Conflicts with work. Is 5 p.m. okay, or do you need it later?
5 or 5:30 would be better, but
But Julie, I'm with you. Moving it to 5:30 or 6 would be better for me. I'm now back in the office on Mondays.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in the office every day, so.
I
Yeah,
also
me
am
too.
going to have limited availability until 6 p.m. on Mondays because of work.
Okay, so we
So
should do
later
it to.
the better.
Okay. So is 6 p.m. acceptable with everyone?
Is that for both days?
No, we have this, well, we had the other one set already for 5 p.m., but we can change it to 6 p.m. now if that works better for everyone. So October 5th would be 6 p.m. and November 2nd. So Lisa,
We-
you have that?
November 2nd.
Yes. So somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion at 5:45 to adjourn.
Second?
Okay, by roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Abu,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Doreen,
Aye.
Doug,
Bye.
and Fritz, aye. Great. Thanks, everyone.